Hello, 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 and welcome to Entitled, where we talk to the entrepreneurs, the thought leaders, and the top practitioners of the real estate industry. I'm Bernie Espinosa, along with my co-host,
David Bellinger. Hey, everyone.
Yes, and I always like to ask David how many today so far.
It's on my first, and
Okay,
it might be my last.
I'm not going to ask anymore because it's always the first one. So.
Yeah. How about I let you know if it's the second?
But welcome to Entitled, where we like to, our fun little podcast is called Entitled because David and I happen to work in the title industry. So yes. Wink, wink, welcome to Entitled. And today we have three really great guests.
Yes.
All three of them have such great legs in the industry. But what's fun about them is they also have a podcast and kind of an open forum meetup called Coffee Talk. And then also all three of them are so what I would call like data junkies. In terms of the stats and the trends in the business and their ability to leverage that information and turn it into some really good things in terms of how people can absorb the information, educate the community, and win in business. So we've got John Angelo, Compass, Arizona.
Yes.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes, awesome. Mike D'Elena, also is still with Compass.
Yep. Thank you.
And then Bradley Opitz with Retzi. Yeah, so thanks you guys for joining us.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Great being here.
Yeah.
Super excited. Yeah. So you guys all got kind of real calm as we started rolling here.
Professionals over here. We know what we're doing.
Well, then forget it. We're done. No. But no, seriously, thanks for being with us today. One of the things that I think David and I were super attracted to is you guys are so good, all three of you, in your independent ways with data and understanding what's happening in market trend, the real estate industry, and then also from an economic perspective too. But let's start with kind of like, give us a little brief introduction on for each of you, like, your origin story in the industry briefly. And then really let's talk about Coffee Talk too.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Podcast about a podcast.
Yeah.
Podcast about a podcast.
Let's do a little cross promo.
Well, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Would you like me to start?
Yes, please.
I will do that.
Mr. Angelo.
So my wife and I have been in the biz for 23 years. We both had corporate backgrounds. She worked for Insight, which is a computer company here. I was with American Express. And just, between getting laid off and 9/11 and all that stuff, we kind of thought, how can we kind of control our destiny for the rest of our lives? And what do we want to do? And we kind of looked around and I had real estate background because my parents were always doing stuff in real estate. So did she. So it was kind of a natural just progression for us to kind of get into it. So she actually left first, was in it for about a year. It did really, really well. Then I kind of jumped on board, and then it's just been, going gangbusters. So.
I love it. Yeah.
And Bernie was our first title rep we ever had.
Wow.
That we were really before, it was great to kind of, this thing has kind of come all the way full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
We
That
love
is
it.
really cool.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
very happy.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. It's so funny to think about, wow, I've been 22 years in this thing. And look where I'm at now, hosting a podcast with you.
Yeah. It's all good.
That's
all
awesome.
Good. Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
So I've been in real estate for 14 years. I started as an investor buying rental properties at the very bottom of the market. So basically we started looking in like 2010.
Yeah.
Did not have my license, was just buying rental properties with another agent friend of ours. And I basically got my license in order to see things on the MLS quicker. And I was like, I can get the commission too. Great.
Yeah.
Or get a better deal and, waive my commission. Ended up getting a license so that I could basically speed that process up. And then a year later, I was in it full time. I'd actually owned a business at the time I got my license, a separate business, completely unrelated. And within a year, transitioned over and then kind of just blossomed from there. So
That's
I would say
awesome.
within 3 or 4 years, it was really growing a team and really into it. And I love real estate. I mean, it connects to all the other asset classes really well. And
It connects to everything, right?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like all the
Yeah.
economy, the whole
I
nine.
love talking to people and
Yeah.
meeting new people and natural extrovert. So it was great for my personality. It was a good mix. And yeah.
And if anyone doesn't follow Mike, he has some great
Oh,
content.
God. Yeah.
Yes, he does.
We'll
Prepare
throw
yourself.
Down,
Yes, he does.
We'll throw down on the IG
Whatever
handles
politically
in a little
correct
bit
things
here.
you're expecting, it's the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as long as you're
I know
comfortable with that.
You sound so professional right now, and I'm like, your content.
Well, I am
No, I'm just
professional,
kidding.
but my Instagram is the exact opposite of that. It's for fun.
It's for fun. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You have great.
So don't
great
judge me
content.
based
Yeah.
on that.
No judging. No judging. And then Bradley.
Yeah, I got into real estate right around 2015. My background, I was a youth minister for a long time, and right out of college, degree in theology and catechetics. And so I got into real estate and commercial first off, worked with Colliers for a short bit, jumped out of that, and then got into residential. So just been working that ever since.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's so great.
One thing real quick that I love, Mike, what you said it really does connect to everything.
It really does.
You know what I mean? Like everything comes back to real estate somehow, some way. And especially the growth that we were talking about before, we started the podcast, just to see it evolve and what it is attracted to and connected to. It's
It really
true.
makes, I mean, it really is like such a rooting part of the global economy, right? Real estate's always a huge factor in that. But you know what I think is really cool about the three of you is, I really got to see you guys in action. And I know this sounds crazy, but it was after COVID during the North & Co talks, right? And the three of you were always very so localized with what was happening. Engaging,
funny,
special, handsome. Yeah.
modest.
Bradley leans in, handsome.
Don't worry about swinging the mic over. I got this.
He's like, hold my beer. Or maybe hold my Bible. I don't know. But I thought it was so cool because that was a unique time, obviously, us going through the pandemic. But I feel like on those daily coffee talks, not only from the inspiration standpoint, but what you guys always brought to the table from a data standpoint, what was happening in our market, what people could be doing. So even though that's really where I got to see you guys shine in my little, on my little square, right, on the screens there. But over the course since then, your guys' connection to what's happening in the market is special. I mean, not a lot of realtors, and I'm sure you guys know this, they don't know the data the way you guys do or have focused on it. And I think what you've done for bringing that information to light and then helping people actually execute and strategize with it, it's pretty impressive. So how are you guys drawn to, what makes you guys love the data so much?
Well, I mean, I can go back and talk about, back at the Fidelity days when you guys had the handle on, what was going on in that short sale foreclosure market.
Yeah.
That's where the data for me really started to
Oh, that's
come
cool.
out, right? So you guys were really like, hey, this is kind of what, you had to bring that to the forefront to really understand, what was happening in the market. It was, you start to also realize, I think most people just think that the market is the same everywhere in the valley, right? But it's just not.
Micro pockets.
17, now 18 major cities, 100 submarkets. And that is where that Cromford data started to really show itself. And I was just naturally attracted to it because I'm like, wow, if I could use this data to help a buyer or a seller or help myself understand, hey, where is the next thing going to happen? That is really where I started to get into it, and I followed it for that long. But that was really when we started looking at it kind of almost daily.
Yeah.
Kind of the same way today.
Well, the market kind of required it, right? If
Yeah.
you were a practitioner in
Yep.
it, you kind of need to understand it a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? That makes sense.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So I started following Cromford about 10 years ago, but tracking my own data on a weekly basis about 9.5 years ago. And it was totally selfishly. Literally, I just wanted to understand. Like once I figured out that, hey, my business is dedicated, it's dedicated to buyers and sellers, but depending on how the market is shifting, what I need to do and how I need to service them may change. Whether it's multiple offer situations versus like we have all the control as the buyer. But if you don't understand where the market is or where it's heading, you're a step behind. And so to better service the client and obviously just to understand it for myself, that's really where I started just tracking. And it started just really simple. What's the inventory this week? And, the Cromford market supply and demand and the combination. And then over the years, it kind of expanded. And now I think I'm on like column double N. Whatever the furthest one to the right is, right? Like I have all these like sub things that I follow now. So I just did it for myself and then started, back at North & Co. reporting.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
remember you started sharing those on some of those. I don't think it was called Coffee Talk yet, but
it was called Coffee
it was.
Talk.
Okay, yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
been Coffee Talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of jacked that name, so. But why change it if it's
It works.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody likes to drink something in the morning.
Red Bull. I mean,
Right?
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, it's like 12:30.
Well, and at some point too, after Bradley, you speak, like we should probably share a little bit about what Cromford actually is. you know, but-
Well, I just like, we do a monthly Cromford call, right? And there's, always a lot of people on it, but how many people actually understand it? And more importantly, how many people use it?
How many people-
There's
yeah.
not a lot of people that use it.
For
And
execution.
there's even the people on there that subscribe, have it, and have no idea how to use it. That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
So that's the purpose of what we do. The winners, we have so much access to data
Yes.
everywhere. Like what we do as real estate professionals to find a house for our clients. Okay, fine, great. Everybody's got Zillow. Your buyer is going to obsess more about their finding of a house than you are. So when we talk about like access to data, it's just so much, but not very many people understand how to interpret the data. And so that's where we come in, is to distill it and put a narrative to what's going on inside the housing market. And
Yeah.
so when our clients hear something of what's going on in the news, it could be sensational, it could be true, it could be fluffed. Our job is to kind of distill it and say, yeah, maybe this is true for the whole market if you consider all the aggregate data, but then if we just dig in,
Yeah.
it's singing a different song. And we need to help you understand that.
Well, I think that's super important because I think so many times people can get like subscribed to a headline and then they use it as an excuse for paralysis as opposed to, okay, well, what can I do with this? How does it affect me? And, well, why not me? There's still people buying and selling houses. So I need to figure out something with this information that enables me to kind of get an edge or to get in front of it or to use the information to my benefit.
Well, you just said something that we talk about with our clients. Data is the new opiate.
Ooh, I like that.
It basically is, it will stifle people, hold people back when they think they have their arms around it. And the analysis paralysis, that may have been the old word, but it literally is what can just freeze people to not make a decision.
Right.
Because they don't know
Yeah.
how to interpret it. They don't know what it means for them. They don't know how to understand how to put it into practice.
Right.
But yeah, the data will just absolutely make people just freeze.
But also, to go along with that, one of the things that that a lot of real estate agents, when we're watching what's going on in the economy and we're watching what's happening, we don't. Not saying that people are stupid, but they're just largely not knowledgeable. And so when you're not knowledgeable, you don't know the right questions to even ask. And so our goal sometimes is just to even introduce them to the subject. So that way they can figure out a question that's appropriate for them to ask. And therefore they're not blindsided either when their clients bring up, hey, but what about this? I heard about this.
Right.
You go, you know what? We heard something in Cromford, or we heard something with Coffee Talk. We're good to go. I got this covered. And therefore they're like way better.
Yeah. There's
at
like a freedom
engaging.
to it, right?
Yeah.
I think that the piece that you touched on was a lot of people subscribe to Cromford, right? But what do they actually do with that data?
What do they do with it?
Occasionally, if they have a listing, maybe they look up like the active inventory or the turnover
Yeah.
in that area. But what do they do with that? And I think that's, and Bradley probably said it better than I'm going to, but like we distill the information and then we deliver it in a way where you don't need to subscribe to Cromford. We do. And then we tell you what it all means and where
Right.
we're at.
Yeah.
Right? We kind of make it, we're a little cheat sheet. And all the articles and all the charts and everything that we make, it's all available to everybody
That's cool.
on the call. So that you don't have to go search for anything. You literally, you plug in, you take it, and you go do with
Right.
it what you want.
It's funny that you say that because on our last, 3 or 4 Cromford calls, there's been more time dedicated on there to actually, let me do a dry run and show you exactly where to get this report. Whereas before that, it was just a presentation. Here's this report. But I think there were so many people. I'm glad you showed that to me. I have no idea where to go find that.
My
Or-
guess would be out of
or
100
what to do
people
with it.
that are subscribed to Cromford, my guess would be over 50% probably don't actually log in.
Agreed.
Right?
I would
They're
agree
like,
with
I
you.
subscribe and I use it,
Yes.
or don't log in very frequently.
Yeah. Or it's at demand. So they met with somebody that actually wants some information about something specific. So they're being on demand with it, reactive with it, as opposed to generating the information, creating a great talk track or a great conversation, a way to educate people. To me, that's a winning edge in terms of understanding what's happening and attracting, connections.
The one thing about Coffee Talk too, it's great because it's broker agnostic. Anybody can get
Yeah,
on.
I love that. I
It
wanna
doesn't
talk more
even
about
matter.
You don't have to
if
be a
you're-
real estate
You
agent.
don't even have to be a
We
real
have
estate
lenders,
agent.
we have
And that
title
was
people
actually
on,
one
we
of my
have-
questions.
Yeah.
What
You can
is
invite your buyer to come and just
Yeah.
listen to where the
That's
market's
what I was
at.
going to say.
Yeah.
Do people bring their clients on
Yeah.
there too?
Not
And
yet, but they should.
They
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
Let you guys do the work. I'm like all day long. I'm like, if someone else could do the work. for
Well,
me,
that's what I was
I'm
going to
like-
ask. I mean, do you ever have just the public jump on to listen?
We would like to invite.
Yeah.
Which camera do I? We would like to invite every single person who is ever interested in real estate.
Yes.
To be
I
on
love
that
it.
call. Period. So investment advisors, people who are investors in the real estate market, builders, title, anybody that real estate touches, that's what we're here
Yeah.
for. Yeah.
And I'll go back and I'll
We told our whole sales team about Coffee Talk that they should subscribe.
I really think, and I'll piggyback a little bit on what Mike just said about the Cromford stuff. I wish every agent subscribed to Cromford, right? Every agent, because if every agent subscribed to Cromford, if they did what Bradley said, they got a little piece here, they got a little piece there, they dive into that data, the entire market would be elevated as far as agents are
Absolutely.
concerned, right? Everybody would be more knowledgeable. Our call is there to help facilitate that, but holy cow, spend some time. This is our craft, right? I mean, you need
craft.
to be plugged into what that data is. And if you don't understand that, that is again why we're here. All of us take calls every single week, text messages, whatever. Hey, I heard this on the call. Can you help me with this or that? We're there. We're available for other agents to help them be better agents.
I love that. And I think that's what's really cool. Like, what motivated you guys to even do this? You're doing it for yourself, but then you wanted to create this community. I mean, I think that's very generous.
Yeah. Well, so when you look at it, at the end of the day, it really drives deals. At the very end of the day, it drives
Why are you laughing
deals.
at me?
Is that where you're wanting to go with that?
It's generous. I'm like, we're charging money.
We're charging.
I know,
just gonna
but
say, he was
I know.
thinking, no, it is about me. Why?
Yeah.
But I mean, look,
We
at
wanna
the
be
end of the
millionaires.
day,
That's why we're doing
$20.
this.
Let's be real, $20. Like, it's still very generous considering the mind share that you put
So-
into creating the information.
I think it's a steal,
I
but
think
I'm
it's a
also on
steal,
the other
too.
end of it. So, but if let's call it $5 a call, if you pick up one thing that gives you one
Yeah.
extra piece of business the whole year,
Hello,
worth it.
yeah.
I totally lost
I
my
think
train of thought though.
I think it's so generous. It's so generous
I
of
think
you.
the other thing too is
I remember what I was
it's
saying now,
really
but-
starting to become a nice community.
Yeah.
Right, where the agents are with different brokerages, they're interacting, they're telling us after that they've interacted with people outside of the call, or they've gone back into the portal and said, oh my gosh, I needed that information about TSMC, or what's happening with water, or what's the next big development with, Metro Center or Paradise Valley Mall, whatever. All that stuff's there, and it allows them to kind of, move in and out freely during their week to get the information when they need it.
Yeah.
Mike, Metro Center's along the 17.
Yeah,
in
I'm
case
saying,
you didn't know.
if it's west of 17, I don't know about it. So I think that the beautiful thing about this trio is that we all cover different topics, right? So I would say Bradley is very big on macro. He understands everything, government, economics.
Yeah.
That's his world. I mean, other things obviously as well, but he's the expert of us three. I'm very micro. I'm in the individual weekly stats, sometimes even sub-markets. I can tell you what street and all the different little detail things. John, I think, really flexes between the two.
Sure.
And covers a lot of the middle ground. So what's coming into town, recent developments, Metro Center. Again, I don't know where that is.
That's why
I do. I actually do know where it is. I just don't go there. But I just don't live on that side of town.
Said pretty much everybody else.
But he can ebb and flow in between. And so we each have some part of the range of real estate from the micro to the macro that will relate to something that you want to know about.
No, you guys are a really strong trio. I mean, seriously, in terms of like your guys' affinity to the data, but then you're practitioners too. You're approachable. People like you. I mean, for the most part. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I'm probably the least likable of the three.
Well, and back to what you said, John, you wish everybody joined. Everybody here has the option to be a part of Cromford.
Sure.
Cromford is not everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
take
Yeah.
the luxury that we have.
We have some of the
what
best
if you're
local data
Exactly.
that is not in many
Nationally
markets.
speaking, yeah, for
I've
sure.
said this hundreds of times. We're big Buffini people. We have agents that we work with all across the country, and I've said this, because I send out a Cromford Market snapshot every 2 weeks to all of our folks that are outside the valley, whatever. And I said I can make a claim that the Phoenix metro real estate market is the most well-covered residential real estate market in the world. And I said the data supports it. It's Cromford, it's Michael
Yeah.
Orr,
Yep.
it's Tina Tambor. I said nobody. I don't care if they're from Miami, Los Angeles, Chicago. Yeah,
And
but-
Coffee Talk.
Coffee Talk. But
Michael Orr, Tina,
Tina.
Coffee Talk.
we're on the list.
You're
We're
on
the
the
top
list.
three. We're the top three, right?
Yeah.
Bronze medalist. But they cannot believe when
Yeah.
I show them this data that it gets generated every single day. I said, you guys, we have stock market data for the real estate market that gets generated every single day, and you just don't take it for granted.
Totally. Well, and I think, taking it for granted and or the ability to understand it, put your arms around it and not get intimidated by it. I think probably a large population of agents, it's just an intimidation factor.
100% it
For
is.
distilling it, for understanding it, all of that.
Yeah.
What do you guys see the byproducts of, people that are getting the data? Are they executing marketing with it? Are they creating new conversations? Like, where does Coffee Talk lead an agent to? Is it just, oh, I have this, I can talk to so-and-so now? Or are they putting stuff together?
Yeah. So one of the things that I see with some conversations that I've been having with people is, just for example, if they're getting stuck with, let's say, a seller that seller is at a certain price point, it's elevated, they need to get that price point down in order to actually sell the house, our data will come into contact with that. And then, you know, I've had some conversations off air with people and just kind of helping them tactically navigate that conversation.
Yeah.
That's just one example. I mean, and that's, you know, that example right there, that's a $5 million listing in PV, and it helps navigate a person that we help service to get a sale.
Yeah.
That's a significant commission. Let's just face it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a significant sale and a significant win for the buyer and for the seller.
For sure.
And so, yeah, those are definitely conversations that are being had.
Well, when you can take like blips and stats and create, you know, little talking nuggets, that helps everybody, right? That's the key, is delivering that information in a way in which, you know, it's understandable, conversational, being authority in your space.
I think something else we're really good at is making sure people have the right mindset. Like a lot of people like, oh, the market sucks, the rates are high. And I'm like, okay, there's 76,000 transactions that are happening in the MLS this year. To have a good year, you need what, 20?
Right.
I think there's enough opportunity there for you to have
Yeah.
20, right? And at one point, like our team was doing like 100 deals. I'm like, 100's not that many compared to 76,000. Well, at the time, I guess it was 100,000.
Yeah.
But still, you have to frame it in a way where it's like you only need 20 people
Right.
to say yes, to
Yeah.
have a great year.
Yeah.
So it's all doable, right? And I think we don't necessarily tell people how to run their business, but I think we share ideas within the community to show what's working with other people and how they can implement those things for themselves.
Part of it too is the confidence around the conversation.
For
so
sure.
this next week
Being an
we're putting together for all of everybody that's about to take a listing or is having a conversation with somebody about a listing. These are the talking points, right? Like we're going through and saying, you know, the market has shifted. Are you telling people to, you know, maybe have a pre-inspection? Like so many, 25% of all transactions are falling out because of the inspection and the BINSR and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, get ahead of that. You know, be the agent that actually has the fortitude to say, you know what, you probably need to look at a home inspection. You might have to get an appraisal, right? We're taking retainers now on our listings. So if you guys, if you want me to be on point, I want you to be on point.
Right.
You know what? We give it back to them at close of escrow. But if they decide that they don't want to do things, or they're dilly-dallying around, or they're not following what we've outlined as the strategy and the talking points and the time frame, we're going to take that, and they can come back another day. But it really gets everybody. It shows that we're professionals, and they are really dialed into it. Their eyes are like wide open, like, really? I'm like, yes, absolutely. That's what you're going to get, all of us, but I need all of you.
Right.
And so those kind of conversations, to be confident in having that with a seller like that, we're teaching that, we're showing them how to go through that, we're coaching them up on that.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between taking a listing that's not going to sell. Who wants that? Right? I mean, it's a waste of everybody's time, right? So we don't want that. We want people that want to sell, we want people that are engaged, but we're going to give you that that dialogue to get it done.
I love that. And I think one of you guys had said it earlier about this elevates the profession, right? As a whole, like it helps an individual, but it elevates a profession. I don't know if any of you guys know Frank Girola, but he was here one time and he met with us and we were like, hey, how can we help? He's like, we just all need to be better. How do we all be better? Understand the information and then create a way to deliver it and strategy, right? Yeah. I love this idea though of changing the consult to letting that buyer or seller know what to expect and what their investment is, just as much as you guys. Because to your point, like, who wants to take a listing just for the sake of taking a listing?
No.
Unfortunately, 35,000
I
of
know.
the licensed realtors out of 46,000.
Yeah.
But when that doesn't work out for you, give us a call. I'm here.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a partnership.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not I work for you and you just tell me what to do. It's got to be a partnership. And if I haven't convinced you that what I bring to the table is going to produce a sale that's going to make you happy and me happy, then, I either haven't provided you enough or you need to see if the grass is greener before we would come back and reach an agreement.
Absolutely.
When you guys are doing your, do you call it a podcast? Is it just a meetup? Like,
They call it coffee talk.
Technically, it's not a, yeah.
I know it's called, but I mean, like, how do you like market it?
It's a live Zoom call every
Okay.
Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
except for bank holidays.
Okay.
Gotta throw that in there. But what's cool about it
That's
also,
funny.
so I said you could log in and look at all these resources.
Yeah.
So we record every one and then we post every one that same day or next day at the latest.
Yeah.
So if you miss the call, which a lot of people do, they have an
Yeah.
appointment or something.
I get the notifications.
Yeah, then you can come back and watch it and kind of plug in where you want. So I think technically it's not a podcast, but
we'll call it
I don't know
that.
what else to call it.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
I mean, it feels like one, right? It's live, it's interactive, it's a Zoom call.
we don't have microphones though.
But that's the part that I think is
You're just on your
is
computers.
The beauty of it is the interaction,
Yes.
right? Because we'll get some stuff in the chats, and we have some folks that are really vocal or have had some great experiences, and it's great to just be able to get. It's not about us; it's about them.
Right.
Right? It's like, hey, we're here, providing some stuff, but we want to hear from you guys, right? How do we make this community better? Who's got some wins out there? What were open houses like this weekend? What's luxury
Yeah.
doing? What's the investor market doing? That's where that community is providing for all
Right.
of us. And on a podcast, like technically, that's not how this.
They're
is
not
set up.
usually live, they're
Right.
recorded, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that part of it is unique.
That's cool. So, how do you guys prepare? Do you guys actually have like a preparation routine, or do you just wing it?
Yeah, so we actually meet on Sundays typically.
You do?
So we'll do a separate call and we'll record that call on Sundays. And so if you subscribe, you actually kind of get to hear our inner workings of our minds and
Oh,
how we
yeah.
kind of snake through the conversation. And we arrive at this 35-minute distilled conversation. Typically, it's like an hour long between the three of us at least. And then we geek out on a bunch of stuff. Like
Yeah.
seriously
we
geek
do,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like extra innings. If anybody wants that,
That's cool. Yeah. I'm a subscriber. I get the data. It's so funny. I have a meeting every Monday morning. And so I'm like, I like getting the notifications for the recordings though. So
I think that we're all data geeks and we all enjoy this stuff. So
Yeah.
like I get articles sent to me from various sources, just in my inbox every day. I know John does. I know Bradley does too on our individual things. We also have charts that we all check every day, like which we would do whether we had coffee talk or not.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and
you
so
totally
kind
guys
of going
would.
back
That's
to the
how you
origin of it,
were.
we're like,
Yeah.
we're doing this anyway. We've done it together before. And I'll credit an agent that came to us and said, hey, I miss Coffee Talk, what it was. And she actually kind of sent us all a group message, was like, have you guys considered doing it? And it was an instant like, no, absolutely not. Like, we don't
Really?
want to do that. And then I kind of thought about it for a couple of weeks and I was like, it's not a horrible idea. Like, let's start talking
you were
about
doing
it.
it already.
Well, we had
before.
stopped kind of. John and I were doing a slightly different version
Yeah.
of it at Compass, and Bradley was doing a much bigger, more robust version at Red Sea. But like the old format hadn't been intact, I think since North & Co went away, and maybe
Yeah.
even before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had been a few years, and some of the agents had left North & Co, and so it was agent agnostic. It's great because
Yeah.
anybody can join.
I love that.
Well, it's funny. I got a call right after our call on Monday from an agent that said, she's like, it's so appropriate that it's Coffee Talk because I just felt like after this call that I am so energized.
That's cool.
With what we talked about, the interaction, the data that I got, what I'm going to do this week. And she's like, I just love it. I really, really love it. I said, that's why we're doing it.
I think it's
so
it's
so
fun,
thank
too.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So where do you guys get your data? Like, what do you subscribe to? Like, where you get your news agency stuff, or like how do you go about
That's a
getting
Bradley
your
question.
info?
It sounds like
Outside of
this might
comfort.
be a secret source by the
Outside
way
of
Bradley's
comfort.
looking.
I am addicted to Twitter.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? It's called
And
X now, though, Bradley.
I follow about 60 different economists.
Okay.
And I mean, seriously, like I go into like university level stuff. I follow economists who are in the government. I follow just tons and tons and tons of financial news. And I save charts on my phone like they're pictures of my kids.
Oh, that's funny.
It
That's
sounds like
awesome.
your algorithm is
You're
much
like,
different
"Look
than
at
mine.
my-" He's like, look at my baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that 10-year.
Look at the 10-year U.S. Treasury. Check
I was like,
check
look
out
at
this
the bond.
formation. Yeah,
Look at these curves.
That's me. Yeah, all the way. So I find a lot. I source so many different places. I'm looking at CNBC, Fox
Okay.
Business, CNN Business, ZeroHedge.com. That's a great one.
Zero Hedge.
Zero Hedge, and then just all the nerdy PhDs that I
Are
follow.
you
also.
a
Yeah.
reader, a snippet grabber, a headline
It-
digger?
I'm a snippet and a reader.
Okay.
If something really grabs my attention, I will read the heck out of that article.
Yeah.
Well, and don't get
Yeah.
me correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of those sites do you end up seeing a lot of stuff that says, nope, Cromford data does not support that here? That is not correct.
Yes. That's the short answer.
Enough said. But I mean,
You
you
mean
know,
like
you're using
headlines?
some of it
Well,
to
so
show you that you
headlines
can't
are
listen
contradiction?
just to the headlines.
Typically, the headline goes against,
Yeah.
or at least is neutral to the article itself.
Yep.
And there'll be trends over long periods of time. So I'm telling everybody who's listening right now is you're going to start hearing more neutral and positive headlines about real estate, or at least that the change is coming, right? And that's what we're starting to see even just in the
Right.
last couple of weeks. Whereas the previous 3 years, everything was negative. No matter whether it was positive or not, it was negative.
Right.
And truthfully, there really wasn't a lot of positive. But I get my sources primarily from Cromford, getting local articles. So the Journal,
I would say Phoenix Biz Journal.
Phoenix Biz Journal. I get a lot of like Sherwood News stuff and Charter. I like charts. I'm a visual guy.
Okay.
So I like to see how things interact with things. And they're not always accurate. You have to interpret them. But I take my own data from the MLS too. So every Monday morning, I go in the MLS and I ask it certain things. How many active homes are there from this price range to this price range? How many have closed? What part of town is it in? And I track it all myself. And I have my own indexes and charts as well. Some of them are related to Cromford, but Cromford, as an example, their supply number is always lagging by at least 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
So it'll show it going up, even though it's flat or has been
Already.
going down for almost a month.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So I chart my own actual inventory levels and then compare it to demand.
Well, and I would assume the benefit of all the outside sources outside of Cromford or your actual experience here is so when you meet with that seller and they're saying, here's what we see is going on. No, I know why you're seeing that because I see that too. But let me show you the fact and data that shows that is not what's going on.
Or where it's going.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
I mean, I feel like Cromford does a great job of not wanting to tell you where things are going, but mostly representing
Well, they don't
what's
like
happening.
to predict
That's
on
right.
purpose. And
Exactly.
I think I love predicting. I'm not always right. But I think we like to try to say, hey, this is what we at least think, or this is the direction.
But I love that, right? I think that that's a cool thing. You're in this business, you're collecting all this information and
not always
making
right.
a guess.
No,
You
but it
know?
is funny that you say, 3 or 4 days behind, even on the
3 or 4
Cromford
weeks.
calls.
Yeah.
Tina will be like, hold on, let me zoom this out. I don't like showing you this. I want to show you this.
Yeah.
But this is real. The up and down's quick. It's real. It's what's going on right
When
now.
I think the sentiment, especially for buyers and sellers, not necessarily for agents, but for buyers and sellers can change very quickly. They can see a news article and then make a decision, good or bad, based on that news article.
Yep.
So we really need to, set the actual foundation for what's,
Yeah.
really happening in the market.
And I think it's happening faster and faster. I think even 5 years ago, you saw the consumer sentiment trail a little bit. There was a little bit of lag, and now I just feel like it's instantaneous. It's kind of bananas. You see that consumer behavior change so quickly. What about you? Where are you getting your stuff?
I'm like that college professor that's walking into the classroom. He's got the patches on the elbows. I'm carrying my newspaper. I am so old school, you guys. Like, I get the newspaper every day, read it every day.
You're a reader then.
I'm a reader.
Okay.
Phoenix Business Journal every week. I'm a local news guy. I listen to local sports. I listen to local news. I find that, like David, we talked about, I've lived here since 1977. I can look at a name and all of a sudden I'll remember, oh my gosh, that was somebody from 35 or 40 years ago, that I can connect something with real estate or data or development or whatever that is. Maybe more uniquely, that for me, that slowdown
Right.
is really what gets me more deeply thinking about what's happening. So just a completely different, I like it because it's on my pace.
Right.
When I open up the paper in the morning, I can look at that article. Now, that article might take me to Twitter, might take me to Google something or ChatGPT or whatever it is. But I like to kind of be the one that internalizes it first, not being force-fed it. And I love that the paper gives me that, every single day. And what's interesting about it is that you start to see some commonalities between what's being reported, what's in the paper, what's in the business journal. And it's nice when you can go to your clients and say, this didn't even come from one source.
Right.
This is coming from multiple
Yeah.
data points, which I think it makes the conversation easier, and it makes it, that third-party data is way better than if we're bringing it because of our own biases
For
or whatever it is. And it's
sure.
just really, it's a lot easier for me to share that.
Yeah. So your time in our market probably has a pretty big impact on how you take that data in too.
Sure.
Like, how long have you guys been in the Valley?
I moved here in 2001, but I was
Okay.
17 years old and was not paying attention to.
Okay.
you know,
So this
the
is really
economy.
like this
You weren't
is-
into charts
you weren't,
yet?
You weren't following charts yet.
Yeah, I was 08 when I moved out here first
Okay.
time. Yeah.
So were you guys kind of you weren't a data junkie yet, but were you?
No,
No?
I didn't start paying attention to the data until I got laid off of my first job in 08.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was like, what happened?
Interesting. So I think too, it's
Yeah.
because I feel like connection to having lived here as long as you have also probably brings a lot of interest to some of that information. And so you guys have both been here for a long time too. So
It's a deeper connection.
it's a
to the
deeper
area.
connection. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've only been here since 2000, but the amount of change that I've seen, and I'm still like a baby in Arizona compared to some of the people you can talk to that are like, oh, well, we used to have covered wagons north of Shea. You know?
Pretty sure that's what I'm pretty sure that's what me and John were talking about
we were.
before the show started.
Bell Road.
Yeah.
There were no freeways out here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Were you going to say something?
I became a data junkie when I became a business owner. So
Yeah.
prior to real estate, I owned a
Yeah.
business for 7 years, and I had to check the books
Totally.
and do the whole sales thing and know where my numbers were, so I knew if I could stay in business or not. So that it was more of a forced
Yeah.
thing.
I agree with that. I've always been a know your numbers kind of person. And so it's like one of
The
those
language
things.
of business.
It is, right? Like, how do you get where you want to be if you don't know where you're at right now, right? You got to know your numbers all day long. So,
Amen.
yeah. What do you guys think where does your personal perspective on our market? John.
I think right now, I always say that we're in a neutral or kind of treading water. When you look at some of the data over the last couple of years, many of those data points haven't changed, right? But that also tells me that this is probably a bottom of where we are, that it's only going to get better from here. Now, it might not be, like it was back in 2020 or 2021, where it's just this rocket, hockey stick move up, but it's back to where maybe the Phoenix market was when we first moved here in the late 70s, right? It was just that constant, really nice kind of consistent, moving up. But I mean, the market dynamics now are so much different than they were back then, just with what's coming here, what the future projections are like, the luxury market that, now is fully its own market that is driven by all these other factors that we haven't had over the past 40, 50 years that we now have.
Yeah.
But I always say that the market's healthy when you see transactions happening in all different facets. Working with
Yes.
first-time home buyers, first-time home sellers, people that are relocating here, people that are leaving to go other places, move-up buyers, people that are investing here, and that could be in long-term or short-term. We have all of that kind of going on right now. So I'm never really worried about a market when I see participation from all the different facets of people that could be buying, different than when we were working through, it's
Distressed.
only going to be
Yeah.
short sales. Then it's whipsawed to REO.
Yeah.
Then it's whipsawed. You're only going to be working with invest. Now it's only the Canadians. Like, that's when you know a market isn't real. It's not sustainable and it's not healthy. But I feel like that market now, even though, we went from going 110 miles an hour back down to 65, it's just, we're back to just the basic normal real estate.
We don't need to be at 100 miles
We don't need
an
to
hour.
be at 100 miles an hour. We
No.
do not. But that's where I feel where we are.
But I love that. And I think it's really well said. But I also believe that it requires skills. Before we had problems to solve, and you just needed to know how to solve those problems. The skills, in my opinion, weren't necessarily as important. They were beneficial. But I think today you need to have good skills in this environment, right? Like, even in a healthy market, there are people who are not doing business because they lack skills.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about real estate, and you guys chime in, real estate's one of the only businesses you can get into without a plan. I got laid off from my job, and I'm going to get my real estate license. What's your plan? 99.9% of people have no plan.
That's right.
They're just, I know a couple of people, and I think my dad wants to sell a house.
Yeah.
Like, there is no plan. There's no financial plan. There's no marketing plan. There's no strategic, nothing. So that part of it, as you get a little bit more wise in the business, it's, hey, we've already put together our 2026 plan. It's already
Yeah.
done. Got it. Gave it to my business coach. She's reviewing it. We're looking at all the numbers. It's done. Right. So that kind of stuff is that's where the being seasoned comes into play.
Right. No, that's good. What about you, Mike or Bradley?
What was the question again?
Where do you see our market right now?
I'm just kidding. I'm optimistic. I agree with basically everything John said. It's just a matter of when we're going to start seeing it go up.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of if. I'm personally invested in that we're building luxury spec homes in Scottsdale and other parts of the city. So I hope I'm right. I think I'm right. I think the data would prove that I'm right. But I agree. We're in kind of Phoenix 2.0, I will say. Phoenix 1.0 was basically from the late 80s, early 90s through like probably 2010. And then I think post the market crash, when everything kind of started building back up, it was heading into like a normal market prior to COVID. And then COVID just set us off, right? I mean, that really started the mass exodus from the West Coast and California in particular. And that has helped our economy and just the housing market in general boom.
Yeah.
So I think we've gotten some help from some unexpected, historical things, but I'm very, very bullish. I think I agree also with John that it's not going to happen super quickly. I think we'll hit a balanced market in January for the first time in many, many years, and it'll probably stay balanced for all of 2026. But I think it will start slowly ticking up and look really positive here by 2030. I think we're going to be absolutely gangbusters. I think even before that.
That's
awesome. But by 2030, I think we're going to be a couple years into just a great time.
Yeah,
and maybe the last time to be a good agent. I think the only other thing I want to add is the skill part. You said people didn't need to have skills. I would say right now the best skill that you can have is just be brutally honest with people.
Ooh.
Like I walk into a listing agreement and they'll ask me, "What do you think I can sell?" I'm like, "Here are the numbers. This is exactly what I think." Now, if you don't want to agree with me, that's fine. I don't need to take the listing.
Yeah.
I don't want a listing that can't sell, but brutal honesty. People want to work with someone they can trust. Whether they like what I'm saying or not, that's a different question, but they want to at least respect and trust what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Well
good.
said.
Really, really good.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. I can't tell you how many listings I have actually lost and watched. Then that's quite all right because I don't want to work. I don't have to, I can select who I work with. But in terms of where I see the market is, Scott Bessent, I'm going to get a little technical just for a second.
Please.
Scott Bessent, our Secretary, Treasury Secretary for the United States, he actually came out in a series of interviews this past weekend talking about how real estate is actually in a recession. There's many different parts of the economy that flow in and out of recession at any given time. And real estate is actually one of those that he has identified as something that's in recession. That's the Treasury Secretary of the United States. And so I agree. I think that we're, for a lot of real estate agents, it's very, very tough times right now for them. So this is not the best of times. For many real estate agents, it's the worst of times. And so what I think, and I agree with y'all, is that we're starting to see really the bottom starting to form, and we're going to start to see it go out. We have a bifurcated market in Phoenix where the luxury real estate, as to your point, has really taken on a life of its own, and so those in luxury have been doing well, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And so luxury real estate, that's why people have been flowing in there. That's why luxury specs have been the thing that have been built. There's no money to be made in median income housing, period, at this moment. Even the builders who are listed on the S&P 500 or who are public, they're having to cut their prices right now to meet certain demand at a certain level, and it's not happening at a higher price. So what's going to start happening is that we're going to see some things that are going to start taking shape to pull the bottom of the market into view, and then for us to start going on the upside. Now, Phoenix, in my opinion, I think that we're actually insulated. Doesn't mean that we won't feel the heat if the heat comes, if and when. It always does.
It always does.
But we'll be insulated to a degree better than some other submarkets or some other states.
Maybe because of what John was sharing too, just that we have a lot of different types of things happening here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's really well said too.
Go ahead.
Well, Mike said, how the economy was up until, maybe the early 2000s, back to the old 5 Cs when we were growing up.
Right.
That was the economy: cotton, copper, citrus,
Yep.
cattle, climate, whatever. Those were the 5 Cs. That's what the state kind of ran off of. Those are still in play, but now it's completely, we are the new Silicon Valley of chip manufacturing. And I mean, that
Hospitality,
hospitality.
yeah.
I mean, we're on the ground. We were in the first pitches of the first inning before a first out of where this thing is going to end up going.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's why we're so bullish on, give it a couple of years. Everybody has got this, this myopic view of what's happening right now. And I get it. We're all living right now. But having kind of a little bit of that, be kind of looking around the corner and you're like, whoa, this thing is really going to start to get some momentum, which we haven't even seen yet. Then you're going to realize, whoa, we are in for a ride.
I was just going to add that we're the benefactors of population boom here. That it's slowing down a little bit, but we're still always in the top 5 of all states, and usually we have multiple cities in the top 10 for the entire country. Us in Texas. I also think we're uniquely positioned where we're close enough to California and major hubs. You can get down to Mexico in a couple hours and go on vacation.
true.
You can drive 2 hours north and be in the mountains and snow. I mean, you're in this like central location where, we're in the middle of a desert, but we can get to so many different areas. I have a client who is from, and his wife is from Taiwan. They're about to buy here. And he said that there's 2 major Chinese airlines that are now flying directly to Phoenix, starting in December and January.
Yep.
Never been done before.
Yeah, you see the billboards on the freeways now too. They're
And he said this is
advertising
a
those
huge
direct
deal, and TSMC is one of the reasons.
For sure.
But he said that those airlines don't invest that money on those flights if there wasn't demand to come straight here. So that gives us even more confidence internationally on the stage.
Yeah.
Phoenix is on the map.
That's amazing.
So I agree with John. I think we're just the very early stages
Yeah.
of this.
I love that data. You're not going to hear that on Cromford.
We need to have you guys come in and talk more often.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just, do you guys do any individual coaching? Is it just coffee talk and taking care of your individual businesses? Are you
$10,000 an hour, I will coach.
Of course, yeah.
I'll jump in on that 10K.
We don't right now.
We'll
I
be
think
your agents. And
clearly
then
we need to raise the
just
price of
circulate,
coffee
yeah.
talk, though, based on what everybody's saying. So,
Yeah. No, you guys, this is awesome. I mean, I think that what you're doing in terms of, $20, like I still call that like, it's very generous.
I think it's a pretty good deal.
I mean, look how much people pay for coaching or to access information or their subscriptions that they don't even log into, right? Like you can actually come onto your guys' coffee talk and get real live people and
ask
interaction
questions
and ask questions,
Or
get
again,
advice.
if you're subscribing, come on, just so you understand it.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend if you have a tough client, just have them come on. Let us
Yeah.
do the work for them. I mean,
I love
So
that.
right now we offer a free week. So you can come in, get
Yeah.
at least one call, understand if it's worth it for you, and then the subscription starts after that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
even if you wanted to send your client the link for a week, they don't need to subscribe. They can hear what's going on for
When they
themselves.
need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Love
would love to talk to you guys even more. We'll have to figure out some other ways to get
Yeah.
you guys in front of
Yeah.
an audience because I think you guys bring so much value and you guys are fun. You know your stuff. You got the experience. But as we get wrapped up here, what's the best way to get information about Coffee Talk? How do we get on there?
Everybody's looking at
Come
me.
on, you guys. Come
You're not
on. You
gonna-
can do it.
You're not
You
going
can
to
do
say
it.
you're not going to say Twitter, are you? Okay.
Definitely not.
Mike's the best, I think, explaining that.
Follow me on Instagram. And
Okay.
in Instagram, I have our link to our site, coffeetalkpodcast.com. Will take
Okay.
you to
Link
exactly
tree.
where to register. It's
And
pretty
what's your-
simple.
and what's your handle on Insta?
Just at Michael D'Elena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And then what's the best way to reach all of you guys? Bradley?
Yeah. I mean, Instagram's a really good spot. So at Opitz, OPITZ Real Estate. That's where you can find me.
Okay.
So that's a really good spot to
Okay,
find me.
perfect.
Follow my open house signs also.
Okay.
So, got one on Valley Vista, great house.
No, we're dropping
Coming up
properties.
this weekend.
Yeah.
We're
Coming up
dropping
this weekend,
properties
I'll be
now.
there. Check it out.
Awesome. I was about to ask next, what's the best way we can support you guys? But clearly, we just got to go to your open houses.
Oh my God.
Mike, that's the best way to reach you personally too, through Instagram.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good
Do
connection.
you have any
point.
open houses coming up?
I do, but yeah, I think Coffee Talk gives you a sense for, and this podcast too, like our personalities,
Yeah.
and I like how you said we try to keep it fun because you can sit there and read data to people, and that doesn't
mean,
last very
yeah,
long, right? So
for sure.
Data is not fun.
no, I think it's the
No.
insemination of that. I think it's the personalities all mixed together, and then the
Yeah.
quality of information you get.
For sure. You guys do a great job.
Well, thank you.
Awesome
Yeah.
job.
We try to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fun. It really
Appreciate it, guys.
And John, what's the best way to reach you?
I mean, if you want to, I'm not. I don't know.
For John, we can put an ad in the newspaper.
say, look it up in the
or what do you want to do?
Google
Did he just say Google me?
John
John
Angelo,
Help
Realtor
wanted.
in Phoenix.
How
Means
about
Yahoo
ChatGPT?
him. Go to yahoo.com.
Let's make this
Wait,
more
Mike,
evergreen.
let's go to, I
How
have,
about
let me send you my
ChatGPT?
MySpace.
If he gives me his email and it says at Hotmail, we got problems.
At least say ChatGPT me, okay?
At the real John Angelo on Instagram. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, probably just Google me phone number. The Angelo group, that stuff. All that stuff kind of pops up.
Okay.
Whatever.
Well, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you guys so much. I mean,
Thanks
it's an
for having
honor to
us.
have you guys, and thank you for joining our podcast. And hopefully we can generate some subscribers for you guys. You guys are awesome at what you do.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
Thank you
guys.
guys
so much.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
All right, you guys, check
All
out
right.
Coffee Talk.